Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, as we all know, Halo Infinite Season 4 update comes out tomorrow, and with it comes the much anticipated return of the Infection game mode. I'm actually very excited for that personally. I used to play so much Infection in the previous Halo games, so it's really awesome it's coming back. However, on the eve of Season 4's launch, as in today, 343 had to drop some bad news on us about Halo Infinite, which will probably affect Season 4 as well. So, as we're all probably used to by now, every new season for Halo Infinite usually comes with a narrative cutscene that continues the multiplayer story of Halo Infinite. This was the story that was started back in Season 1 with that whole Training Academy cutscene, and at the time, yeah, there wasn't much to the story, but it's actually gotten quite interesting as the seasons went on, especially with Season 3. The story really reached its peak and got really good in Season 3. Like, when Season 3 first launched, I was very fascinated by that Oni door and what was behind it. A lot of people and I all did like a bunch of exploring to try to figure out what was behind or underneath that door. And it's really stuff like that that is what gets me excited and interested in playing Halo Infinite more. I just love that, like that mystery or exploration aspect. And of course, the Season 3 story was continued later on, where we did finally get to see what was behind the door, and that ending sure was very cool and got us all hyped for Season 4 and Infection. So, the bad news that Sketch from 343 dropped on us today is that those narrative cutscenes are going away. That means no more of those seasonal narrative cutscenes. From what I can interpret, it seems the Season 3 ending is it. There'll be no more cinematics after that. According to Sketch, 343 had to make the decision so that they can prioritize resources to fixing issues in Halo Infinite and adding new content to the game. This does make sense, actually. There's been massive layoffs over the past year at 343, and this has led the studio being a lot smaller than it once was. So obviously that means less resources available, so it can't be business as usual anymore at the studio. And because of that, their narrative cutscenes had to go, unfortunately. It was a trade-off, according to Sketch, but he didn't give any specifics of what we can expect in exchange for that trade-off. This has stirred up quite the controversy across the Halo community after that announcement. Some people are understandably upset that it's, another thing we're losing from Halo Infinite, which are, with no replacement in sight. So the future of Halo Infinite just seems gloomy to them. On the other hand, there are people who are taking this as a positive thing and saying no one really cared about or watched the cinematics anyways, so it makes sense for 343 to get rid of it completely. I'm kind of curious where you all stand on that issue, actually. Were you ever interested in the multiplayer story, or did you just skip the cutscenes and never watched or even were aware of them? Because, from my personal perspective, I remember when the campaign team was laid off, and it was basically revealed at that point that we're not getting campaign DLC for Halo Infinite. A lot of fans defended that and said campaign DLC wasn't necessary because we have the multiplayer narrative to continue the Halo Infinite story. But now that these narrative cutscenes are going away as well, all of a sudden people are saying that it's a good thing too, and we never needed it to begin with. So, I'm not sure how people genuinely feel about this overall. It's mixed all over the community right now. I personally did enjoy those cutscenes though, and I always look forward to them each season. I particularly liked how it uses our multiplayer Spartan in the cutscenes too. But with it going away, I am personally quite disappointed by that news. Normally, I wouldn't be bothered as much by such an announcement, but it's disappointing for me because it was one of the original staples of Halo Infinite seasonal content. Something to look forward to each time. Now, I'm not saying that Halo Infinite needs story DLC for campaign or multiplayer. Quite frankly, I never even expected that at all from the start, especially for the campaign. But with the campaign team essentially gone from 343, it makes it sound like it'll be a long time before we get another continuation in the Halo story. We pretty much have to wait until the next Halo game, which, with the way things are now, it will likely be years before that happens. Remember, it took over 6 years to make Halo Infinite, and at this rate, with all the layoffs and restructuring at 343, it could very well take several more years for another Halo game to come out. And truthfully, if we had to keep waiting 6+ years for every Halo game going forward, that's going to be really rough. I get Halo Infinite is a live service game, but if all we're getting is just weapon and armor coatings with the additional new map, vehicle, or weapon, I don't know if that's enough to keep people interested for like the next several years or more. like going a whole, like, imagine like a whole decade like that, the 10-year plan, quote unquote, whatever that means anymore. Imagine like 10 years of just that and no new Halo game, no story game, nothing else. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not saying that's actually what's going to happen. For all we know, 343 could be working on the next Halo game already, in which case, great, I can't wait. But 343 hasn't exactly provided any specifics of what we can look forward to either. So right now, it's hard to see like what's on the horizon. There's not much to look forward to right now at the moment beyond Season 4. But I do hope 343 will surprise us with some big announcement eventually. But at the moment, this news today was pretty disappointing. In the grand scheme of things, the narrative cutscenes weren't super critical to Halo Infinite's success. But considering its goal was to be a live service game, it does lack that narrative aspect that other major live service games have. I can't think of many live service games that don't have some kind of narrative aspect to it. So at this point, at this rate, I don't think Halo Infinite will ever be able to live up to the original live service vision that 343 probably had. I'm certainly looking forward to what the future has in store for Halo, and I certainly hope Halo still has a bright future ahead of it. But right now, I think we're in a wait and see kind of stage. And of course, for now, we do have Season 4 and Infection to keep us going. But the overall problem right now is that a lot of people feel Microsoft is abandoning Halo and not giving it proper support, which does seem to kind of be the case. 343 has new leadership now, but it doesn't seem like they've been given all the funding they need to hire enough people to get Halo Infinite to where the community would like it to be. In fact, more people are being laid off. Just the other day, David Ellis left 343. So, instead of getting what they need to fix Infinite, add all the new features and content that they wanted originally, 343 is instead left having to ration their resources and cut things from a game that's already had to make a lot of sacrifices for content. I really hope Microsoft and Xbox Game Studios comes around and puts in whatever resources 343 needs to turn all this around. But until then, like I said, we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, that ends my rant for today. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'm still interested in what all your thoughts are on this announcement, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. But aside from that, I'll see you all tomorrow when Season 4 and Infection launches. And make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.